The moment is right to bring back Bill Olet. Bill, come
Hi,
on
Dean.
back now.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. How you been?
Hey, I'm really enjoying this.
Me too, me too. Wasn't it great to have the guys from Human?
Dan and Alessandro, you know, as you know, this is what we would have wanted, right?
Yeah.
It's great to hear the information, but let's see somebody using it. And be able to dig down, I think is wonderful.
Let me ask you, what do you enjoy about working with entrepreneurs?
You know, having done it multiple times, you can't keep doing it over and over again at my age. And so seeing them not go through and have the, hit the walls that I did, I live vicariously through it. It's fun. I think it's, I also love coaching basketball, and I love seeing teams win. It's almost like you're on the team, And at this stage, you have so many of them. Kind of like having kids or grandkids.
Yeah.
So it's great. I really enjoy it. And look at them. I mean, how could you not like them?
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, they'll be back later in the episode to talk about COCA. And before they get here, we have to lay it out. So COCA is the cost of customer acquisition, meaning the amount of money you'll spend to acquire the customers.
Mm-hmm. And some people refer to it as CAC, customer acquisition cost.
Right.
It's the same thing. But what we're going to go through, well, I'm going to define it here. Sometimes I see people use CAC or cost customer, and they don't precisely define it. But we're going to define it precisely.
So
we're MIT, after all. We don't like things ambiguous.
So what's the definition?
So cost customer acquisition is how much money it costs to get one more customer. It's not all the other costs. It's just all the marketing and sales costs. How do you create that, awareness? How do you get the trigger going to get it through all the way through to, when you collect the money? So what's that entire process take? And this is websites, this is salespeople, this is commission, this is planes, trains, and automobiles. It's dinners, it's wine and dining, it's games, it's demo units, everything you need to get out there to be able to sell these things effectively. I'm saying market and sell them.
Yeah, well, we just undertook this humongous task of doing the LTV, and you saw how complex it was. Well, it was the framework that you proposed. And our students would be wondering, oh my gosh, now this other humongous task of doing the COCA. So why? What's the rationale for doing it?
It's unbelievably important. I mean, when you're talking about, I did the LTV. Well, that's not valuable unless we know the other side of the equation. It's just a number. Is $10,000 a good number? Well, that depends. How much does it cost to acquire the customer? If it only cost me $10,000, I can use very automated techniques and I don't have to spend that much, then that's a great deal. But a lot of times, new companies get out and they acquire customers that are $10,000 for the total profits, the lifetime value, yet it costs them $50,000 to acquire the customer because they have to have this very expensive long sales cycle. And that's just not a sustainable business. And you would want to know that up front. You wouldn't want to, commit your money, your time, your friends, all those relationships, hire people for a plan that's just not going to work. So figuring out the cost of customer acquisition is work, but it's a reasonable amount of work. But we're talking about days or weeks. What'll save you is months for sure, and probably years. And even if it doesn't right off the bat, understanding it will make your business decisions that much more intelligent going forward.
As you say, your confidence in your business should be increasing as you go further in the process. And sounds like this would give you a lot of confidence if you look at your LTV and you say, okay, it's great, and let me look at my COCA. Wow, my LTV is a lot greater than my COCA.
Yeah, and I saw this. I think that's a really good point. In your business, as you're going forward, your confidence should be increasing. And it should be increasing because you know more and you have a more logical approach to it. And I remember as an entrepreneur, the ones that I was drawn to were the ones who had a logical approach. And then it was funny because they became the more successful entrepreneurs as I noticed them over and over again. They had a repeatable.
So you see this in practice. People who
absolutely.
do logically, in a sound way, success happens.
Absolutely. Now, there are exceptions to that. There are people might get, quote, lucky or just instinctively know and not be able to explain it. But the really good entrepreneurs will sit down and be able to understand immediately, this is my lifetime value, this is my cost of customer acquisition, that's why I have to do this. And by the way, what was also good at this are venture capitalists when they go through. They understand these unit economics because they look at hundreds of companies and they've figured out what makes for a winning formula. And so, yes, it will help you as entrepreneurs to understand, this math, because it will save you time and it will allow you to make decisions going forward that will make sure your business is that much more likely to be successful.
Now, is that right that to position yourself to understand your COCA, you have to start with mapping your sales process?
Absolutely. And so we're going to do that right now, but before we do, knowing our lifetime value that comes before we map our sales process. Some people say, I want to map my sales process. But knowing your lifetime value is a really important data point, because if my lifetime value is $100, I know that I cannot get into direct sales. There's a lot of these sales channels.
Yeah, that's very expensive.
Yeah. So, but if my LTV is $10 million, then I know that I'm going to probably be in direct sales, because I can't have such a valuable customer and just use, computer techniques and not have humans involved. If someone's going to, get such a high-priced item, they want some TLC. They want some tender loving care. They want someone they can call up and help them with their problem. So knowing the LTV allows us to start to look at what are the options for us to get to the customer.
It makes the process more concrete.
Exactly. So let me do that right now.
Sounds
up
great.
Here. And I want to structure it in a way to think about this.